Oi! Como vocês estão, pessoal? Bem-vindo a mais um vídeo aqui do meu canal. Eu sou o Kaylin e vamos continuar hoje... A verdade, tem que voltar pro jogo. E hoje vamos continuar Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, de onde paramos. Acabou o Watch Dogs Legion ontem, literalmente ontem. Tô gravando esse no dia que saiu o vídeo do Watch Dogs Legion. Oh yeah, but yeah.
I should write a book about the behavior of bees someday.
Mas eu espero que você esteja gostando da série. E então, quem não for inscrito no canal, eu recomendo que você assista o primeiro vídeo. Se quiser, você assiste esse. A escolha é tua, no fim das contas, né? Mas espero que você goste de qualquer forma. E quem já foi inscrito, dá o like, compartilha, ajuda bastante. É isso, simbora. Oi, John.
A manor all to ourselves. Can you believe it, Sherry? I have so many ideas.
Tenho medo das suas ideias.
Home sweet home, Sherry. You know, I envy you, Sherry. You can talk to other people and they won't ignore you.
And I envy you. You can ignore any person you're bored with. You don't miss out on much. Most men are dull, unlike yourself.
Well, I'm flattered.
A gente sabe que ele é um amigo imaginário do Sherlock, mas ainda assim, cara, ele parece ser quase uma pessoa que realmente está viva.
I had a surprise for my mother. I was holding an ancient Greek vase, or rather, quite a big piece of it. You had a shovel with you, John. I remember now. We dug up the vase from Greek ruins here on Cordona, and were eager to show my mother right away. For some reason, the door was closed. We knocked.
But nobody answered. We thought that she was busy.
So we left the vase and ran downstairs.
Ok.
I decided to gather some archaeological tools in order to take a closer look at the vase.
But then we heard something, didn't we?
Yes. Came from upstairs.
Certo.
The vase was broken, shards scattered all over the floor. And your mother was standing at the door.
Another one. Indeed, John. I doubt it was her. Let me concentrate. Otto Richter was standing there, furious at us. Dr. Richter told us never to disturb my mother when the door is closed. He said she had broken the vase.
Eu acho que foi
But we
ele.
didn't believe him. I bet he smashed it. Her things are still here.
Presumably Mycroft never felt the need to sort through it all.
Or couldn't bring himself to.
No. He would have put it behind him and moved on. My brother is not one for sentimentality.
You're not obliged to be here, Sherry. We can leave any time you want. Look what I found. The White King is under attack. Sherry, can you save him and checkmate the opponent in one move? You're not obliged to be here. Sherry, we can leave any time you want.
Pera lá.
Oh, nice move. You saved the king and checkmated the black king with the rook.
Ah, saquei. Saquei como eu dei o checkmate. Eu entendi como que foi o checkmate ali.
Looks like it was damaged by a blunt object. It reminds me of my mother. My mother loved flowers. They made her smile. I remember we would bring a new bouquet every week to make her a bit happier.
That's why we collected all the violet flowers we could find on the island.
It's a strange feeling to read about my father's death in the newspaper. I can't recall anything except the deep feeling of loss.
You were too young. It happened before we even met. It's so sad. I'm sorry.
Abra.
No labels. I doubt it ever had one.
Também duvido que tenha tido algum já.
No. There appear to be residues of the bottle's contents at the bottom.
Posso examinar?
Do you think the doctor could have used these tools here? I hope not.
Ninguém quer, né? Eu consegui fazer isso, definitivamente. Pra lá, tô respondendo um amigo meu. Às vezes parece que eu tô fazendo live, apesar de eu não estar fazendo, mano. Um dia tem que começar a fazer live.
This room always reeked with an acrid medicinal stench. And here is the reason. This seems a bit odd. I can recognize my mother's style, but it's far too sloppy. Dated 12th of February, 1869. It's difficult to tell what this is meant to represent. There's no date at all.
Eu entendi.
Straps on the bed. Just doesn't look right. Bars covering the windows from the inside. Seems this was the most frequently used medication. 1 dram dissolved in a glass of water, administered daily. Not to exceed 1 dose in 24 hours, not to be given to children.
Ah. Analisa o negócio? Ah, tá.
Oh, it brings back some memories.
Oh, I would love to take a bath right now.
Not this one. Surface corrosion suggests it was prone to extreme temperature fluctuations. For medical purposes, I suppose. Mother was troubled that morning. Something we did upset her. Dr. Richter tried to calm her down. The broken plate shards were all over the floor. Mycroft had to change his suit as the one he was wearing was completely stained.
Ah, tá, tem alguma coisa aqui.
We had to put the tray with Mother's morning tea down, but why? It's starting to ring a bell. I think it happened in the morning.
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
I don't believe you! Liars! Get away from me! It's not true! It's not real!
What? Oh.
Everything will be okay, Sherry. I promise.
It was the morning of the 9th of April, the day my mother died. My mother, she was not just ill, but mad. God have mercy.
I'm sorry. That explains why you locked the memory away.
There must be more, John. That was the morning of her death. I need to know what happened. John!
Every time you... I just don't... Please, Sherry, leave it be.
Just breathe, John. You know that I cannot leave the last stone unturned. We are so close.
I know. But can we at least leave it for another day?
Well, history tells us these memories are triggered by our investigation of other matters. I suspect it could not be forced even if I so desired.
Thank you. How are you feeling about all this? Tell me, I'm not the only one reeling.
It feels wrong, sad. Like they're the memories of another man. I'm struggling to reconcile my love for my mother with the reality of who she was. And worse, what possessed Mycroft to lie about it? There are precious few pieces of this puzzle remaining, John. Let us dawdle here no longer.
Indeed. Wait. Did you hear that?
Ouvi?
Yes. Metallic soles. What is this sailor doing here?
Sherlock Holmes, isn't it? I was looking for you.
With whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
You can call me your new game. The rules are simple. I have something for you, but you alone must work out what that is.
And that something is my prize, I suppose?
You're a fast learner, sir.
I cannot believe that Mr. Vogel has somehow successfully called my attention to his gallery. You're here with an invitation to visit it, obviously.
My word, you are fast, Mr. Holmes. Could you explain how you came to that conclusion?
Of course. Explanations are my favourite part of any conversation.
É divertido.
Hands without any sign of regular physical activity, in contradiction to one who would most usually wear such a uniform. The paint in your hair is pink. I don't know of any military service that paints their ships pink, unless they have launched a new fashionable fleet. A sailor with the soul of an artist? I would suggest rather a gallery employee disguised as a sailor to mislead me. How many artists on the island know where I live and of my passion for deduction? Werner Vogel is clearly at the top of the list. And you've been attempting to conceal something square-shaped within your pocket. An invitation, I suppose. An invitation to Mr. Vogel's gallery.
That was remarkable, Mr. Holmes. Mr. Vogel was right about your genius. I think he may have even underestimated you. This is your invitation. Please tell Mr. Vogel that the seed has been planted. He asked me to tell you to do so, if you win this little game. Farewell.
Eu já vou, mas eu tenho alguns casos pra resolver. Que eu vou sobre o cartão junto. Tá, Cartola Jones, um descendente do Zengia, pode saber mais do que contrabandistas comuns, mas que é improvável que fale com alguém que não faça parte da gangue. Ele pode ser encontrado no lado norte de Finch Cannery em Silverton. Silverton. Tá, esse negócio aqui é pra comprar as coisas da casa do Sherlock, beleza? Coisa pra fazer. Silverton, Finch. Qual que é o nome do negócio? Finch Cannery. Caralho. Ué. Só se... Pode ser que Finch Cannery seja um local, não uma rua.
Extra! The hive gets stung! A substantial police...
You'll never find... Enjoy your...
The best of flea market.
The worst clothes at the best price. I hope.
Don't miss out
Orient,
on my unique
merhaba.
clothes.
It's a good day for a purchase.
Beleza. Ah, vai merda, John. Ok, vamos pegar uma roupinha.
Don't pass by. Let's pick something that suits you. Good choice. A good choice indeed.
É pra cá mesmo. O militar que perdeu o olho em batalha, informante responderá o código oculto pelo peixe.
My crossing former should be somewhere around here. Try not to mess it up, or you'll blow his cover.
Could you help me?
Hey, you're a lucky man. I know about this.
He could have been more helpful, but all right.
Do you know anything about this?
Yes, friend. I know something about this business.
A fábrica de conserva está localizada na Tennedo Red em Silverton.
Nice to see you.
I can't seem to find the boss. Where's Panzer?
I'm not your nanny, you daft muck snipe. I need to get more men to warehouse too now, so quit bothering me, will you?
Ok.
Boy, these crates are heavy.
What a bunch of loafers.
Excuse me, just one question.
No, brother, I've never heard of this.
Tá. Tô pensando. Eu acho... Deixa eu pensar um pouquinho, já volto. Voltei. Eu acho que é o segundo armazém mesmo. Tem mais guardas e etc. Deve estar contrabandeando as coisas aqui. Ah, que porra de gelo é esse?
Who the hell is that? Get him!
Don't bother moving. You've lost. No more crime for you until next month. Don't bother moving.
The snuff's ready. Won't work this way.
I couldn't miss the party.
Terribly sorry. Too simple.
I'm coming.
Oh, you can overcome the brute now.
Don't cry, you'll live.
It's all yours now. Go for it.
Too simple.
Give him the pepper snuff. Time to knock this guy out.
I'm coming for you.
No more.
The snuff's ready.
Don't bother moving. You've lost. No more crime for you until next month.
Consegui?
I'm coming.
Can overcome the brute now.
Don't cry, you'll live.
Don't cry, you live. Resumo, não chore.
Whew. Panzer is captured, but alive. Now, to report to Miss Sertle. I deduced the location of Friedrich Panzer and was able to apprehend him.
So I heard. What a coup.
How?
Since you're here, Mr. Holmes.
Info. As... I'd never hear the end of it from Mycroft if I declined.
Outro caso? Mas faço depois, aí. Depois eu faço isso aqui. Vamos pra... Já volto aqui enquanto tá carregando aqui, fazer um negócio rapidinho. Ai, caralho. Eu pronto, voltei. Tá, então... Tirei aqui. Olá!
Mr. Holmes, you came! Oh, how kind. Though now, of course, I realize it is because of my game, not the works on display. It needn't be one or the other. Your man's disguise was easily debunked, Mr. Vogel, but I shall admit that you planted in me the seed of curiosity. Ah, terrific! I had no doubt you'd put the pieces together. Let us call it an opening gambit before the real game begins. So, this little game of yours, what's it about? An enigma to solve. A locked area in the basement with no windows found brutally vandalized. I have no clue how it was possible. What about this intrusion? What happened? Last night, I was about to leave the gallery when I heard a noise downstairs. I went to the basement, but I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. It was admittedly a rudimentary inspection. It is not uncommon to get rats down there, so seeing nothing of note, I left and locked up the building. When I returned this morning, alas, I discovered that part of the exhibition had been torched, and there was no sign of the intruder. The mystery being, of course, that all the doors to the gallery were locked exactly as I left them. And the door to the basement is the only entrance? Correct. Tell me you're not intrigued. And this locked area downstairs, what exactly was it? The under gallery. It's always shut, and I'm the only one with the key. Ah, so this is your private collection, not part of the gallery. Oh, no. It's an exclusive exhibition of eccentric pieces. Only a select cadre of artists, investors, and collectors are admitted. Not everyone deserves to have their eyes open. Well, this matter is certainly within my wheelhouse.
Me lembra pouco
This intrusion troubles me. Please take a look around if you're willing. The under gallery is through the door at the end. I will see what I see.
You sure you don't like art, Sherry? Back home, we've got a taxidermist. He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him.
A simplistic attempt at provocation.
Back home, we've got a taxidermist. He's gonna have a heart attack when he sees what I bring him.
A handprint of the thing from another world. But it looks fresh, and its coal origin ruins the effect of the extra mundane.
Corvinho?
Sherry, how about some company in that dreary chamber of yours?
Leave my loneliness unbroken, John. Sodden and mould-ridden, one presumes deliberately. Ugh, sheer vandalism. Only an ignorant person could do such a thing. Coal fingerprints. I think we're looking for a man with a coal moustache. A Malpalbot. The parasites of creativity. Or just a reflection of the artist's recreational interest. Saturn devouring his sun. A grim composition.
Eu acho que é...
Unflinching in its ferocity, yet somehow beautiful.
De certa forma, a beleza da morte.
A true artist never shows an unfinished piece. The left step's length is shorter than the right. It indicates that the walker was lame. Old, and hasn't been used for a long time. Closed with a metal bolt. Footprints. Size 9.5.
Isso é estranho. Tá na hora de trabalhar um pouco.
You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate. You're not even trying, Sherry. Concentrate.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the hatch bolt. He accidentally pushed a shovel to the floor. Vogel heard the noise. At the sound of his approaching footsteps, the intruder hid inside the coffin. When Vogel entered the basement, he failed to notice anything strange and left without properly checking. The intruder waited until Vogel had left the caravanserai before burning the paintings in Wilde's room. But the vandalism was a cover for the theft. The pieces are not what I expected.
What do you think my collection is about?
Cara, corrupção, decadência, morte, tudo isso combina muito. Mas eu diria que é mais sobre a decadência, se for ver.
Extravagant paintings have been left to rot in a basement.
I don't know.
Well, that's absurd. Of course you know. It's your gallery.
There is no one answer, no singular truth, but many filtered through the subjective mind. That forgetting, embellishing, lying machine. Besides, what's wrong with a lie if it makes life more interesting?
What's wrong with a lie? It corrupts the ability of others to behave freely and rationally.
Men never act freely and rationally anyway. It matters not what is or isn't in the end. The only important thing is how you feel. And I simply want to feel and consume as much as I can. Don't you?
Feelings are simply one's animal ancestry trying to wrest back control of the brain. I try to avoid the distraction.
You try not to feel, even in a place like this? None of it moves you?
To be frank, I struggle to maintain even a whit of interest in art.
But Mr. Holmes, it is joy incarnate, mankind's greatest achievement.
Realmente.
Mankind's highest achievement above all others is objective and rational thought.
I see then why you dislike art, for it means whatever you want it to.
Or perhaps, Mr. Vogel, I was lying.
Aha.
Mr. Vogel, my investigation has revealed that the intrusion was not merely vandalism but theft. The limping visitor left your place with a canvas.
That's very impressive.
The fire was a clever attempt to hide a stolen painting, even if it didn't fool me. I found the remnants of an empty frame in the pile of ashes. The canvas had been removed. Do you know which paintings in the Wild Room may have interested a thief? Were any particularly expensive?
Those pieces belong to a well-known artist named Boniface Mercurio. They're controversial, but not of a notably high value.
This thief was familiar with the gallery, and he was sporting a limp. Do any of your clients or artists come to mind?
My, your attention to detail is remarkable, Mr. Holmes. I should introduce you to Bosch's works. Alas, I'm afraid I cannot suggest a culprit.
The intruder entered the basement through the coal chute. He used a magnet to open the latch and dislodged the shovel while doing so. That's the noise you heard yesterday. When you went downstairs to investigate, he hid in the coffin.
It seems I should have checked the space more thoroughly.
There's something more, is there not? I can see it in your eyes.
Indeed. There is another intriguing angle. I recently received an anonymous offer for one of Mercurio's works. The sum was more than fair, and indeed could have saved Mercurio from his artistic poverty. But he declined it.
Was it a performative whim? Some artists lionize pain and hardship as if their work would be worse after a meal and a hot bath.
I cannot tell. But not only did he refuse the deal, he insisted on displaying the painting in the public space. I was hoping to change his mind, but artists are a special breed of stubborn.
So where can I find Boniface Mercurio?
I know he lives somewhere in Old City, but couldn't be more specific. He's a prominent figure, so finding him shouldn't be a problem.
Eu vou dar uma olhada nos arquivos, pode ser que eu ache ele é cara famoso.
What was depicted in the piece?
A bound woman, wrapped in robes, being penetrated by a red devil that stared at us, the viewer. The beast had numerous tails growing from his back, and a large crowd gathered around the pair, silently watching the orgiastic scene.
Okay, well, given the nature of the other works on display, it's hard to see why that one stood out. What could possibly be its value?
The evaluation of art is very subjective, Mr. Holmes. After all, art is everything. A poem, a bruise, the beads of sweat on your beloved skin. Even a masterfully solved crime.
I'm not sure I see the connection.
Regardless, the painting was one of a series called The Sabbath Night in Cordona. The works depict sex, violence, and other controversial acts that life, for better or worse, contains.
Ah, I see.
I'm not sure that you do, but that can wait for another time.
Well, I believe I have enough to begin. Thank you, Mr. Vogel. Your gallery certainly has unexpected depths.
I'm delighted to have been able to please a friend. In return, I expect you to come back with good news, or at least with a good story.
Bem, como eu disse, se é na Cidade Velha, é só a gente vir pra cá. Se eu não achar aqui, pode ser que eu ache em alguma notícia. Negócios oficiais, outros. Não é aqui. Ah, qual é, John? Não fica bravo comigo não, amigo. Tá, jornal deve ter. Notícias sobre artista, coisa assim. Ok. Por aqui em algum lugar. Aqui.
Excuse me, young man. Where do you think you're going?
Greetings, ma'am. I'm looking for the...
I don't care who you're looking for. You shall not pass. No visitors allowed.
I wish to buy a painting from Mr. Boniface Mercurio. Is he at home?
Dearie, tell me, because old age has made me blind. Did someone write Information Bureau on my forehead? Entries for
Don't part. Let's pick something that suits you. A good choice. A good choice indeed. Let's pick something that suits you. A good choice. A good choice indeed.
Simbora lá.
Boniface, sweetie. Is that you? Ah, old age does terrible things to one's sight. I didn't recognize you at first.
How are you, Mum? I'm ashamed to admit that I've lost my key. Do you have a spare?
For heaven's sake! How many times will you lose that key of yours? Of course I have a spare. You artists all live in your own little world.
Please, accept my thanks.
I would rather accept your rent. You promise...
I will pay you.
You'd better do, my dear. Or else I...
Porra. Claro que o caso estava bom demais.
The blood has dried.
I've heard of this style of painting. It is called Expressionism.
I wonder where he got that fancy camera. Despite the overall tendency towards mess, you cannot sit with the drawer pulled out like this. Someone left it after searching.
Já teve uma briga aqui pelo jeito.
It appears the wine was truly awful.
Don't look at me like that, Sherry. I will not touch that dirty floor.
Ok, né?
Judging by post-mortem rigidity, the body lay here for 1 or 2 days. The wound is precise. It was inflicted by a razor or a knife. Soaked in blood. It seems as if the puddle of blood was here before the rags.
Ah, faca.
A normal kitchen knife. Could be the murder weapon. Aunt May whiskey, brandy bucks. Quite a collection here.
Parece que alguém gostava de beber, né?
The chest has been searched. Red skin, tails on the back. Reminds me of Werner's description of the stolen painting.
Foi ele que roubou?
The photograph was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material. The photograph was not pulled out in time. Such a waste of material. Mercurio was developing photographs when the intruder snuck in. Mercurio heard him coming. While the thief was searching the chest, the painter ran towards him with a bottle in his hand. He smashed it across the thief's head. The intruder had no choice but to defend himself, and the weapon of opportunity happened to be a kitchen knife. Mercurio stepped aside to grab the painting, but the wine-blinded thief attacked Mercurio's throat. When the thief came to his senses, he saw Mercurio bleeding on the floor. He grabbed the rags and tried to bandage him, but it was too late. Why did Mercurio attempt to snatch the painting in the middle of a fight? To strike the intruder? Not with his painting, it was too important to him. It's time for some chemical magic, John. Red skin, tails on the back, reminds me of Werder's description of the stolen painting.
Essa daqui é fácil.
That doesn't look like the painting we need, Sherry.
It's expected, but that doesn't mean it won't tell us anything. Let's put it on the easel where it belongs. I guess this is his most ordinary painting. Spot the two differences, John? If the intruder didn't take it, the skull should be somewhere here. Nothing behind it.
Aqui está.
Monster was actually a man. Poor girl. John, you ought to be thrilled. We are now hunting the devil himself.
What were you saying, Sherry? I was too busy sketching the scene, you know, crimes and such like, daily routine. Did you find something?
A photograph. It depicts a man in a red suit with tails sprouting from his back and multiple people in masks watching the scene. It all adds up. But the act of love, it wasn't given willingly, John. It was a violation. And the girl, she was with child.
Give that to me now. Did you recognize someone?
No. Although the victim is not from Cordona, she is African. Look at the ritual scars on her face.
Get that image out of your brain. You have to continue the investigation.
I must speak to the landlady. Perhaps she saw or heard something.
Sherry, you cannot tell her the truth about Mercurio. It will hurt her.
John, that's illogical. Sooner or later, she will come here and discover a corpse, and I still need to talk to her.
Just avoid mentioning corpse, all right? Stick to the character, tell her to call the police.
I'll take that into account.
And wait here. I've redrawn the people in the photograph. Now you can proceed with your investigation without those horrific details.
Ok, certo.
What's wrong, dear? You look like you've seen a ghost.
Can you tell me if anyone else has recently entered the flat?
Oh, you're talking about that limping man. I'm sorry I let him in. Maybe he would
Can you describe...
Huh? And he was...
Can I ask a favor?
Of course, dearie.
Please call the police and ask them to enter the flat. And don't look inside until they come up.
What? What trouble have you stepped in this time?
Só
It
faça
really
isso, por
doesn't matter.
favor.
Thank you, Mum.
Phew, Sherry, that was close. But you did everything correctly. Now, take off your outfit. I can't let you walk around in a dead man's clothes.
Beleza.
Do you know anything about this?
I don't trust men in fancy clothes.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Sorry, sir, I know nothing about that.
May I ask for your assistance?
Sorry, sir. I know nothing about that.
Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
Excuse me, just one question.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I don't know anything.
Porra, hein? Ai, ai. Porra, achar alguém pra me falar isso daqui vai ser difícil, hein?
Could you help me?
Nah, fella. I got no idea about this.
Eu já volto, vou ver se eu acho alguma pessoa que possa me auxiliar pra continuar. Ok, eu consegui achar. O único lugar que pode se encontrar é o povo de Ui em Cordona, no campo de refugiados, localizado sob a Ponte Victoria.
Beasts!
Cheguei!
Murderers!
They're completely livid. First they come to our land, then they murder our people.
Sir, this place is off limits to the public. Please state your business or leave, or I shall request that the police escort you out.
My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm a private investigator. I'm looking for a witness for a case.
A private investigator? Really? Even so, you're not authorized. I can't let you in.
And you are?
I'm Ronald Harlow, here to handle the refugee situation on behalf of City Hall. I'm the acting supervisor here, so I have full authority here to ask you to leave, or I shall order the police to detain you for trying to pass the blockade. Please, step back.
What about the murder that this crowd keeps shouting about?
It's mere assumption. I assure you that the situation is under the police's control.
I know you want to deal with this in the right way. You are obviously a professional and a responsible person, but you clearly have never handled a situation like this before.
I am handling it, Mr. Holmes. Don't question my capability here.
And tell me how you do it. You can't even calm this gathered crowd, and as for the police, they're not quite managing it either, are they? You consider yourself a problem solver, but until today, you've been solving problems sitting at your desk in a dark corner of a city hall room. Here, you need a more practical approach.
What are you driving at, Mr. Holmes?
I can help you to handle the situation if you're truly interested in solving things quickly and quietly.
And how exactly would you manage that?
Deixa eu entrar ali.
Simply tell the police that I'm with City Hall, and I'm permitted to investigate the scene. I'll work out the rest. But in return, I need your help finding my witness. She's a young refugee. She's with child, or was with child recently.
Look, there is indeed a dead body inside the camp. So even if the girl you are looking for is there, they won't allow you to speak with her.
So it's in...
just...
Mr. Harlow, how...
What?
Mr...
So they keep these refugees under a bridge like proverbial trolls. No wonder the people outside are so disturbed.
Who the hell are you? How did you get in here?
Mr. Ronald Harlow let me in, sir. I'm Sherlock Holmes, a surveyor of refugee affairs with City Hall. You're Inspector Tewkesbury, I presume?
A surveyor? What does that even mean?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the Colonial Office and to assess all the damage inflicted on state property.
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food for archive mold.
No.
Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems before you appeared.
Could you first tell me what happened here?
What happened? When...
Did you learn anything?
Eu já volto, eu preciso fazer um negócio. Oba. Voltei.
Do you have any suspects yet?
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it coming. Better bury him and forget about the whole thing. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superiors say we must thoroughly interrogate the refugees.
Deixa comigo.
At least those who can understand any English.
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of the refugees?
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now, they're looking how to protect their public image. That's why I have to waste my time waiting for my people to turn every stone and befriend every refugee.
And none of the refugees were harmed?
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there near the...
And where is this...
Back...
What a pleasant man this Mr. Tewkesbury is. Here we go again. Number of hours on Cordona before stumbling upon another dead body? 0.
Clearly a left handprint here. A furrow in the ground. A blood trail leading to or from the canal. A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently. Someone bled profusely here.
These events have fractured into so many pieces. But I know you can collect them all, Sherlock.
Police boots. Always happy to... A man's footprint. A heavy boot with a worn-out sole. The cut is deep, potentially serious if not treated immediately. He is in shock, feverish and dehydrated.
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
Someone was dragged against their will.
The refugees have been detained and will not leave until all the circumstances are clarified.
The blood sprayed off the blade after the strike. No hint of blood or impact. It might have been used as an improvised weapon.
Ou tentar usar, no caso, né?
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment. Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment. It won't do any good. That will kill, not save him. Just washed. Better than nothing to bandage the wound. I'll use it to create a solution. I'm afraid these leaves can only be added to tea. I can use this to stop the infection from spreading. I've collated all the ingredients, now to prepare the first aid solution.
Você vai sobreviver, amigão.
Thank you. This should make you feel better, my friend. Now remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
Malpal, soaked with salt water. A simple leather sheath. Perfect for a dirk. £1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British currency isn't very common in Cordona.
If they find out
Such a mess.
everything will go.
Let's figure it out.
Okay.
Nobody will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
Sherry, the coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps we should sniff around in the camp a little more thoroughly.
May I ask you something?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
Is this familiar to you?
A solid question, sir, but I don't have the answer.
This isn't working. You might need a different tack.
Could you help me?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
Oh, I don't know about that. Ask one of the others.
Everyone's looking at us, Sherry. You sure you know what you're doing?
You still here?
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired.
Talvez o cara ali da frente saiba.
I hope I'm not making a grave mistake in trusting you, Mr. Holmes.
I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall lubberheads.
Is this familiar to you?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
Are you able to help me?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
You obviously haven't thought this all through. Or are you just annoying these people on purpose?
Calma, caralho.
Who isn't allowed to visit the crime scene these days?
Merda. Talvez o guardinha dali saiba alguma coisa. É a última vez que eu tento, vai.
Back off.
É, não.
Is this familiar to you?
Nothing I can tell you, sir, but others might know more.
De volta ao caso.
A steel dirk, sharp, a common accessory among sailors and soldiers. An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something?
Talvez.
Coal dust under the nails. I don't see much coal around here. Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other. This man was limping John.
Achamos nosso ladrão.
I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however the wound is too messy to be certain. A violent death. But this man, limping, coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John. You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place? Sealed shut. I doubt our man could get through these grates. It's unlikely anyone could get in or out of the camp by water without alerting the police guards. No, it's too short for these walls or cliffs.
Porra, hein? Tá difícil. Ah.
A single Malpalbutt. Roadman cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers. So there wasn't any sophisticated infiltration plan. The good old police just let the man into the camp. Now we have everything we need to get the full picture of what happened at the camp. So, we have a thug who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force. One of the refugees stood in his way, armed with a stick, yet he could do nothing against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled. He was stopped by the falling crates. He stumbled and fell, piercing his chest with his own blade. However, the wound didn't cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell.
Foi quase suicídio.
Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. In our man's case, it's the same sword.
You still here?
Inspector, I believe I can aid your investigation. I know who the dead man is and what really happened here.
You do? Well, good for you. But I'm afraid I'm not the one you need to share your findings with. Speak to Mr.
You don't even...
Oh, anyway. I'm busy. Don't you have papers to fill? City Hall lubberheads.
Back off.
Mr. Harlow, your refugees didn't murder anyone.
What? Pray tell me what you've learned.
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for you, but will create a few more.
Oh, well, that's a great start.
The man came to the camp intending to kidnap one of your refugees, a woman.
Eles não
What
esperavam
he
que
didn't
ia
expect
proteger.
was
Claro
that
que
the
ia proteger.
refugees would stand up to protect the woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man stumbled over those crates and fell on his own blade.
How do you know he fell on his own blade?
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offensive stab, shall we say. The refugees didn't touch him.
Nele, sabia?
And judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately fell into the canal.
But how did he sneak into the camp? Why didn't the police see him?
And this is where your new problems emerge, Mr. Harlow.
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is no feasible way to get into the camp without the police guards knowing of it.
The pile of mess I had to
bagunça,
sort
cara.
out has just become bigger, but somehow that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, I thank you for your help, Mr. Holmes. I'll take it from here. Meanwhile, I'll make sure the police aren't detaining the refugee.
You think one small clock can make any difference in this place?
Who knows, John? Just one ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble. Can I ask you a question?
They often take us from the camp to work. Most don't mind though.
Saquei.
It's the only way to get a glimpse of freedom.
So there's a smuggling ring in the camp. This wasn't the first time that someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
At least it was certainly his last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the thug came from.
You're the one who tended to our man's wounds. I thank you greatly. The police didn't allow us to help him.
The police will leave you alone now. I've proven to them that the man who came into the camp died due to his own foolishness.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody would help us without a reason. You're here because you want something.
Yes, I do.
The dead man came for her too. What do you want?
Naylor. She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to find the people who did this and bring them to justice. And to find them, I need Naylor's help. Will you let me speak to her?
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But you helped us, so maybe your words are not empty. You can speak to Naylor, if she wants it. But I will be watching you.
Ah, cara, que situação triste. Eu queria poder fazer mais pra
Hello,
ajudar
Naylor?
eles, mano. Mas não tem muito que eu possa fazer, só dói do meu coração.
My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please. There is a photograph, and I'm sorry, it is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people? Christ, Sherlock. Naylor, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
You come here for me, but you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had this cross. Now go away. Leave us be. I do not need another white man's help.
Sherlock nunca foi bom.
Glad that wasn't me.
Not my best work, John, by a long shot. Naylor doesn't want us meddling. I'm starting to wonder what this all achieves.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
Ele é um oficial. Ok.
Hello.
Qualquer coisa eu posso perguntar pro Vernon, que ele é um artista. Talvez ele saiba algo.
Murder! Beasts!
I owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
You still here?
The intruder has a most peculiar tattoo on his neck, 2 lines and a point. Do you know anything about it?
You really want to know, kid? Why? You want to play a policeman or something?
I'm sure you have it in your records, so it won't hurt if I have it in mine.
In my records, it's just a tattoo, as it should be in yours. Ah, to hell with you. Suit yourself as to what you're going to do with it. Off the record, though, such tattoos are often connected to a man named Mr. Niccolo Bernadotti.
Bernadotti, you say?
A respectable businessman in Scaladio.
Okay.
His company, his people, but these are all merely... You're disturbing a hornet's nest here, son.
Is this... I just... need to collect my thoughts, Sherry.
Murder! Beasts!
Hey.
Um jornal, eu acho. Quer dizer, se tiver alguma coisa assim dele ser um cara famoso, por conta dele ter um grande negócio, ele deve estar no jornal. Qualquer coisa eu pesquiso na polícia também.
He's even
Contrabando.
An impressive slice of life. The police had a lot on him and at the same time, nothing at all. Amateurs.
Deixa eu conversar com o meu querido amigo aqui. Talvez ele saiba alguma coisa. E se a gente apresentar algumas coisas pra ele, talvez a gente consiga mais pista.
I think I'll leave the exhibition in its current state for a while. I'll call it The Art of Vandalism.
Ai, tá bom. Não consigo falar com ele por enquanto. Tá. Talvez a prefeitura, se eu falar com alguém lá. Com a moça. Ou talvez eu tenha que achar, tá. Ok. Pudesses, Calídio. Bazar RD, próximo ao cruzamento com o Roman ED. Porra, é muita coisa. Bazar RD, deve ser por aqui. Caralho, hein? Como é que é essa merda aqui? Ah, é.
It seems they're not expecting guests.
I won't wait for an invitation, John.
These workers don't look like your average Cordona folk.
They're refugees from the camp.
That's our way in, Sherry.
Oba, eu quero entrar aí.
I'm here to discuss business with Mr. Bernadotte. I tried the front door, but...
Mr. Bernadotte isn't seeing anyone. You have 3 seconds to walk away.
It's in Mr.
What?
Listen, the man Bernadotte sent to... I did try to resolve this peacefully.
I'm coming for you.
No more crime for you until next time.
I'm coming for you.
Don't cry, you'll live.
Give him the pepper snuff.
Don't bother.
The snuff's ready.
Take a rest, my friend. No more crime for you.
Give him the pepper snuff. It's all yours now.
I couldn't miss the party.
Too simple.
I couldn't miss the party.
Ow! Don't bother moving. You're lost. Take a rest, my friend.
The snuff's ready.
Voila.
You've disappointed me so much. Sherry, look! This seems familiar.
Let's see what's hidden there. Vogel's stolen painting. Isn't it curious how it developed into a much more interesting case? A Dogon statue from West Africa. A century old at least. Masks, traditional for the Chokwe people of Central Africa.
Ele tá contrabandeando artefatos.
VH Grindley Flow Blue tableware. This is what lies behind the facade of Bernadotte Company Limited.
No, sir. Don't hurt me.
It's all right.
Like you didn't harm the folks on the way here?
Sorry. We don't see much here.
An amazing piece of culture. I imagine many collectors and museums would be interested in having it.
Don't come any closer. One step and I'll shred you to pieces.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Righto. Yes. Yep. Well, excuse me, sir. I think I hear... I've got to... It's better I leave.
Whoa. Oh, wow. That was as if somebody put my words in your mouth. This is it. This is where all the magic happens.
I suppose it's Mr. Bernadotte with our fine governor. 1875. It was taken a few years back. John, how many people in Cordona have a photograph with the governor, do you think?
You definitely don't have one.
Please don't shoot me. I have a family. Spare me. Spare me.
So, you've cut through all the guards just to talk to me. Then come here, and we shall talk. Whenever you're ready. I'd hate to intrude.
Ah, cara, você não vai escapar dessa, só avisando, tá bom, amigão?
Bad news. The thug you sent to the refugee camp only succeeded in stabbing himself. His next and final journey will be to the morgue.
Hold your horses. Who the hell are you?
Sherlock Holmes. And you are Niccolo Bernadotte, a smuggler, kidnapper, and notorious cutthroat, among other things.
Few men would dare waltz into my office and address me like that. You are either overconfident or unintelligent. This is private property. Give me one reason why I should not shoot you on the spot. I am sure my friends at the station would call it self-defense.
Mr. Bernadotte, do you know the name Boniface Mercurio?
I do not.
Mercurio was a local artist. Recently, a man broke into his apartment, ransacked the place, and killed him. The thief was looking for something.
You are testing my patience, boy.
In a moment, the connection will reveal itself. As I said, your man was found dead in the refugee camp. He was there to kidnap a woman, but the other refugees intervened to try and save her. The ensuing scuffle resulted in the man's accidental suicide. He sported the same tattoo as you.
You have no idea what you... The refugees in the camp are on edge. What? Why would...
I was hired, privately, to investigate the... My investigation led me to a man from...
That is quite a stretch.
Interestingly enough...
I presume you were hired... So, when you barged into my office, Mr. Holmes, I got... Tell me, is that...
It was necessary. I have enough evidence to conclude that the gallery thief, the artist's killer, and the dead man in the camp are all the same person.
Your time is almost up, Mr. Holmes.
Before you draw your gun, there is one final detail I am yet to mention. The young woman your man was tasked to collect from the refugee camp had been defiled at a perverse masquerade party. That violation was captured in a photograph by Boniface Mercurio and used as a reference for his painting. The photo shows the attacker's face.
Finally. That's why you...
It is what your man...
You have the photograph with you?
I am not naive.
I must admit, it fell into my lap. As a businessman, I simply seized... Now.
Why did you send your man to remove the woman from the camp?
Without a photograph, her testimony was the next best thing. Securing her was in everyone's interest. Victims and witnesses all too often disappear. I thought the girl was safer with us. I did not anticipate what would happen at the camp.
I could not help but appreciate the collection of smuggled artifacts in your storeroom. You have rather diversified your business.
Oh, high and mighty of you, Mr. Holmes. Not all smuggling is immoral. I pay generous rates to developing cultures and spread their culture to eager buyers. And furthermore, I supply many immigrants with a taste of home.
A very convenient way of thinking.
I have traveled wildly, Mr. Holmes. I've seen people in far-flung lands for whom my services are a life. And trust me.
I saw... Why should I give you the photo? You...
É que eu tenho que fazer um negócio, por isso que eu tô acelerando um pouco.
You think you can decide what's best for these people?
Such is the arrogance of British imperialism. I take your point.
The front door's now open, sir. You can leave through it. Bernadotte Limited will always look forward to your visits.
I need some...
Não tem como eu confiar nele, cara. Esse é o problema. Vamos conversar com o Volga. Assim eu posso colocar minha cabeça em ordem.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
Not yet, Mr.
Cara, puta que pariu. Deixa eu pensar um pouco, É realmente uma decisão difícil. Mas tem algo faltando aqui. Ele tá nessa cena, mas ele não é o culpado. Essa é a questão. Tá faltando algo. A gente não terminou esse caso ainda. Talvez ele seja um pouco mais longo. Ele tá na foto porque ele participou. Mas não foi ele que começou isso, essa é a questão.
I'm curious, how did Mycroft recruit you?
Have you found anything helpful?
If you're here on matters of signing up for military service, come back tomorrow. Why are you staring at me like I'm a Madame Tussauds fig?
On my way here, I was wondering whether you might regret what you did. I tried my best to retain at least a shred of faith in humanity. I had hoped that you would hear her scream, see her face in your dreams, or at least once ask yourself how Naylor might feel.
Who?
Neither of my hopes were fulfilled.
Why are you here?
Pera, só um segundo, já volto. Eu vou tocar ele. Beleza.
You defiled a girl who was with child. Don't even pretend that you regret what took place. Do you wonder why I came here? It is because I am disgusted with people like you, and the only way in my mind to rid the world of your ilk is to see you hanging from the gallows.
All right. Is it about money, as you said in the letter? I have it, all right? There's no need for violence.
I've never written a single word to you. As you can see, I have a more direct approach.
That letter, it wasn't from you. So what do you want?
Answers, to start with.
Fine. I suppose...
Sherlock Holmes. And I do not.
Shame. All the best discussions are accompanied by a glass of whiskey. But out of respect for
Obrigado.
you, I won't drink either.
Respect? That's an unusual word in your mouth, Mr.
Where are my manners? My name is Thomas Norton, a British envoy in Cordona on a military mission. So, where do we start?
You mentioned blackmail. Tell me about it.
All right. A couple of days ago, I received an anonymous letter. It said that in the art gallery at Caravansary there exists a painting that incriminates me. The blackmailer made it clear that if there is a painting, then a photograph exists too. And I should be wary of what it might do to my reputation.
What does the blackmailer want from you?
Money, of course. What else do such people want? Up until the last moment,
So, let's return...
It's...
So you didn't attend the party to engage in an exotic experience in...
I would never have planned such a terrible thing. What happened with...
The painting that...
I might be a rotten person.
And what...
You're young.
Vai tomar do cu. Eu tenho que escutar.
Mr.
You will make amends and... Use your connections to...
Yes.
That's...
Help the...
I need...
What makes you... think you can decide what's best for these people.
Tá. Porra, mano, é um puta impasse essa merda, né? É tipo, qualquer um dos lados vai se sair fudido, sacou? Independente do que aconteça, mano. Não tem um lado bom dessa merda, cara. Ai, ai, puta que pariu. Tipo, cara, não tem uma coisa que seja bom aqui. Os refugiados podem ficar bem, a mulher pode ficar bem. Ai, cara, deixa eu pensar um pouco, vai. Cara. O quanto eu quero justiça? O mal menor para o bem maior.
Come on, it's not like we've got anything better to do.
Have you thought it?
Almost. The refugees, what will happen to them?
Well, I wouldn't be standing here in this fancy office if I didn't know how to pull the right strings. In fact, it's the only thing I know. The local governor will receive a decree signed by the House of Lords containing a request to patriate the refugees in the name of the Crown.
From where did you gain such influence?
I never asked you how you found the photograph. So don't ask the magician how he performs his tricks.
But how can I believe you?
Ugh, I presume you do believe in my selfishness. The initiator of the refugee salvation will be none other than the British envoy, savior and protector of those in need. It's a win situation for me, too. Now, what about the photograph?
You deserve to be punished, but the greater good is what matters here. I won't bargain it for justice for Naylor.
I'm glad that this situation is over.
It will be over when you settle the matter of the refugees.
You have my word, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, you've returned. Have you uncovered anything new about the theft?
É uma longa história.
I've brought news, but not all of it will please you.
Fill me in, Mr. Holmes. I won't shoot the messenger.
I tracked down Boniface Mercurio.
I presume he wasn't delighted about the situation.
He was not having a good day on account of his murder. Killed in his own flat by the same person that stole his painting.
Oh, sweet Mercurio. Perishing in the pursuit of his art. How apt. I will miss his exceptional sense of humor.
I located the thief, but found him rather cold. He was tight-lipped about the painting, too.
Huh, he's dead. How very droll, Mr. Holmes. One presumes you were not responsible.
It was an accident at the refugee camp. He impaled himself on his own.
Life is nothing if not cruel and capricious. What about the stolen painting? Have you located it?
I found the painting, but I could not retrieve it.
Well then, where is it?
In Bernadotti's office.
Bernadotti? That shady businessman? Why would he steal it from me?
I'm afraid you'll have to ask him yourself.
I take it you found something more then. What happened to your crusade of truth? Was it not that important, after all?
No truth will satisfy you, Mr. Vogel.
It was not an attack, Mr. Holmes. If you've chosen not to tell me, I respect your intention. But it is just rather boring, isn't it?
It is what it is.
Well, now that we've resolved all of our outstanding matters, I have a gift. I am told it belonged...
And,
Frank?
Previously you mentioned there may have been more to my mother's passing than consumption. It appears you were right.
Oh dear. I'd hoped to be wrong.
She was unstable, mentally. Thank you, Mr.
Deixa eu lá ver o que é e daí encerrar o vídeo. Mas calma lá que eu vou ver as notícias.
Extra, extra! Interested in some Cordona news? Check.
Ah.
The front page. You won't regret it.
O que tem ali antes de eu ir pra casa, ver o negócio e encerrar o vídeo, sacou?
I'll let you know if something else comes up.
Aí eu achando que tinha algo aqui.
Mr. Sherlock Holmes, I presume?
Correct. With whom do I have the pleasure?
Emilio Esteva. Happy to make your acquaintance. He's on his way to Cordona. In the meantime, he requests you...
I'm afraid I don't have time for...
I hope that you will So...
fala logo.
You have my attention?
Mark Ridley, the son of General Arthur. The matter...
What did...
No, you should say... There's a... And
Depois eu faço isso no próximo vídeo. Vamos ver o que tem aqui.
Just look at this thing. It's huge.
Vou encerrar o vídeo aqui e depois a gente volta, ok? Beleza? Espero que vocês tenham gostado, como sempre. E até a próxima. Falou pra vocês. Tchau, tchau.